Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast. Presented by Stephanie Williams and Greg Lewis.
Welcome to the deep dive. We have this really interesting set of articles about smart fashion, how technology is changing the industry. But let's go deeper than just like the headlines. How does this impact you?
Smart fashion, it's so much more than buying clothes online these days. We're seeing how all these technologies are coming together and changing every stage, from design and manufacturing to shopping and even like how we wear the clothes.
One of these articles mentioned Louis Vuitton using AI to design clothes already, which just seems wild.
Yeah, and AI is not just a luxury brand thing either. H&M, for example, has used VR to create their store layouts, and there's tons of personalization happening, analyzing trends and optimizing inventory. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Imagine trying on clothes virtually in your living room, or owning a digital garment as an NFT. How does that feel? Are you ready for a digital wardrobe?
That's the thing though, right? Some companies are going all in on tech, but others are shutting down stores because sales are lagging. Foot Locker's a good example. They're closing underperforming stores, but investing in their lace-up strategy, which is all about customer-centric technology. It shows how companies have to adapt.
Oh, totally. We've seen brands like Adidas shifting gears too. Remember that whole Yeezy situation?
Yeah.
And it kind of plays into this larger transformation the industry is going through.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really challenging time. Even for big brands, they need to find ways to incorporate these new technologies if they want to stay competitive.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the creative side of fashion, not just business. AI is now being used to design marketing campaigns. We saw that Mango and Etro were already doing that.
It's true. AI's influence on design and marketing, you can't deny it. It's super fast and cost effective. But, we have to think about the potential impacts on human creativity and making sure this AI content represents different perspectives.
Think about the last fashion ad that really caught your eye. Could it have been made by AI? And how would that make you feel?
That brings up the broader impact of this thing called agentic AI. It's not just in fashion. Look at how OpenTable uses it for customer reviews, or Land O'Lakes uses it for order processing. These AI agents are doing tasks on their own, which is changing how we work.
Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, called it a totally new working model. New productivity, new economic model. It's a huge statement about how this tech is affecting so many things.
And it's happening right now, not in some far-off future. So we need to think about how these advancements impact customers, especially in this fast fashion world. Brands have to figure out how to keep customers engaged when they have so many options and are so focused on price.
Yeah, what are some of the strategies brands are using to address these challenges?
Instead of always chasing trends, many companies are focusing on quality and sustainability. They're trying to create unique experiences, building those deeper connections with their customers.
So what makes you loyal to a brand? Has technology changed that for you?
It's interesting. Customer loyalty these days is not just about getting people to buy again and again.
More like turning them into, super fans? That seems pretty hard to do.
Yeah, traditional marketing often struggles with that. But, with these new technologies, if they're used right, they can actually help create those deeper connections.
How can technology really help brands build those genuine connections and turn customers into advocates?
Personalization is a big one. AI can tailor recommendations and experiences to each individual's, preferences, so customers feel understood. And it goes beyond just product suggestions. It's about creating that really enjoyable experience.
Like when you go into your favorite store and the owner knows your name and what you like, that personal touch makes you feel like you matter.
Exactly. Technology lets brands recreate that personal touch online. It can also help brands be more transparent and responsive to what customers need. Social media, for example, has completely changed how brands interact.
It seems like brands can't get away with being fake anymore. They really have to engage with their customers in a genuine way.
And when they do that well, that authenticity can build trust and loyalty. But technology isn't a magic bullet. Like any tool, it can be used poorly or even cause harm.
What are some of the potential downsides or challenges brands need to be aware of when using technology to build customer loyalty?
Well, data privacy is a huge one. Customers are much more aware now of how their data is being collected and used. They want more transparency and control. Brands have to be super careful about how they collect and use that data, making sure it's ethical and respects customer privacy.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel like a company's spying on them or using their information in a way they didn't agree to.
Right. And another challenge is avoiding over-personalization. There's this fine line between a helpful personalized experience and overwhelming customers with too much info or making them feel like every single thing they do is being tracked.
It's like when you search for something online and then suddenly you see ads for it everywhere. It feels creepy, not helpful.
Exactly. Finding that balance between helpful and intrusive is key. And lastly, brands can't lose sight of the human element. Technology can definitely enhance the customer experience, but it should never fully replace genuine human interaction, especially in fashion where personal style is so important.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between technology and human connection.
Exactly. The smart brands are using technology to become more efficient, but also investing in training their staff to provide amazing customer service and build those meaningful connections with customers.
It's like they're saying technology should work for us, not the other way around.
That's a great way to put it. It's a good reminder for brands to focus on creating a wow experience for their customers.
We've talked about how brands are adapting and innovating, but what does all this mean for the future of fashion as a whole? Where do we go from here?
That's the million-dollar question, right? That line between the physical and digital worlds is getting blurrier and blurrier. We're already seeing this with virtual fashion and NFTs, and I think that's just going to speed up.
So does that mean we'll all be walking around in digital clothes one day?
Maybe not literally walking around, but I do think digital fashion will become a much bigger part of how we express ourselves, especially online. I mean, think about how we use social media, avatars, virtual worlds. It offers all these new ways to explore self-expression and creativity.
So fashion is becoming more multidimensional, going beyond just physical limitations.
It is. And it's not even just about the clothes themselves. It's about the whole experience of fashion. Brands are creating immersive virtual experiences using AR so people can try on clothes virtually, and even using technology to change how it feels to wear clothes.
Change how it feels. What does that even mean?
Imagine clothes that change color or pattern based on your mood, or fabrics that react to your body temperature. It's about using technology to create a more interactive and engaging relationship with fashion.
That sounds amazing, but also a little freaky. Makes you think about the implications of clothes that can, react to our emotions or physical state.
There are definitely ethical considerations as these technologies keep evolving, but it's also important to keep an open mind and see what incredible innovations might come out of it.
It's wild to think how far we've come from just buying clothes off the rack. Fashion has become this whole new world of possibilities.
It has, and that's what makes this so fascinating. It's not just about the clothes themselves. It's about how fashion intersects with technology, culture, and our own personal identities.
It reflects who we are and who we want to be.
Exactly. And as technology keeps evolving, I'm sure fashion will evolve right along with it.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I have a much better grasp of smart fashion and where it's headed.
I agree. It's been a great conversation.
Before we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will get from this conversation?
The big thing to remember is that smart fashion is not just some fad. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about and engage with fashion. It's about embracing technology, but not just for technology's sake. It's about using it to enhance creativity, sustainability, and the whole customer experience.
It's about using tech to create those more meaningful and personalized fashion experiences.
Precisely. And as we move into this new era of fashion, it's up to each of us to decide how we want to be a part of it. Are we going to be passive consumers? Or do we want to actively shape the future of fashion?
That's a great question for our listeners to ponder. I hope it's something they think about long after this deep dive is over.
Me too. Because ultimately, the future of fashion is in our hands.
It's pretty inspiring to think about how much power we as consumers have to shape the future of fashion. What are some other ways brands are using technology to really improve that customer experience?
A lot of brands are looking into augmented reality. Imagine being able to see how furniture would look in your home before you buy it. AR can do that for fashion too. You can try on clothes virtually and see how different outfits would look on you.
That'd be amazing for online shoppers like me. No more guessing about sizes. AR could solve a lot of those problems you have when you can't try things on in person.
Yeah, and it could even help with returns, which is a huge sustainability issue for the fashion industry. And beyond AR, some companies are even playing around with sensory technology, like clothes with elements that respond to touch or change based on your mood.
Whoa, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Clothes that react to our emotions. So cool.
It's still pretty early for those kinds of technologies, but it shows how fashion is becoming more interactive and personalized. It's not just about the garment anymore, it's about the whole experience of wearing it.
When we think about the future of fashion, I wonder how these technological advancements will impact fashion design and creativity. Will human designers become obsolete?
I don't think so. Technology can be a really powerful tool for designers. It can help them streamline their processes, come up with new ideas, and even push boundaries with fabrics and materials. It frees them up to focus on the artistic and conceptual side of things.
So it's not about replacing human creativity, but about amplifying it.
Exactly. I see technology as more of a partner for designers, not competition. Actually, I think we're going to see more hybrid roles, designers who are also skilled in using tech to bring their vision to life.
This has been such an eye-opening look into the world of smart fashion. We've talked about AI, blockchain, customer experience, sustainability, so much.
It's been a pleasure talking about this with you. I hope our listeners now have a much better idea of what's shaping the future of fashion.
I hope so too. Like we've been saying, technology is changing everything about how we design, make, market, and even experience clothes. It's a super exciting time to be involved in fashion, both as consumers and creators.
The whole fashion landscape is transforming right in front of us, and it's up to all of us to navigate these changes carefully and shape the future of this industry. This has been a great deep dive, a lot to think about. Any last thoughts?
I'm definitely feeling optimistic about the future of fashion after this. Technology has the potential to solve some of the industry's biggest problems, like sustainability and inclusivity. It's also giving consumers more power to make informed choices and support brands that share their values. Moving forward, I think it's super important to remember that technology is just a tool. It's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically to create a more sustainable and equitable fashion industry. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of smart fashion.
Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast.